All right. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, this is great.
Off to a great start.
All right.
It's April 22nd. It's April 22nd.
Did you tag us?
And we're still live. We're going to be talking about a little old friend of ours called the moon. And that's not such a little friend. It's a big old friend in the sky. And we've all got some theories. There's lots of theories surrounding the moon. I'm Mary, if everyone wants to go around and introduce themselves.
Are we video live? We can't introduce ourselves until we're video live. So, welcome to Saturday Night Live. We'll just keep doing this until...
I thought you were going to play music, and then you just cut that really soon. And now you're just doing this gag is going to get really old really quick if you're just going to start the show off like...
You think so? How long do you think it would take for it to get video?
Yes.
Are we video live? All right.
Hi. All right. We're going to be talking about the moon today. I guess we'll go around and talk about who we are first.
Should we do like we introduce each other? So it's sort of like praising, like... No?
I mean, no, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Joey Eichler.
I thought you said be introduced.
You said no.
Well, then I said okay.
Okay.
I wanted
Introduce.
more positive.
I'm Mary
than just
Morris.
shooting you down already. I'm trying to have a more positive time with you this episode than we've had in the past couple episodes.
Off to a great start.
Jeffrey, why don't you fucking introduce me?
I'm Jeffrey Carmel, resident moon expert. Here to debunk everything that either of them have to say about any celestial bodies.
Wow.
Do you want to reintroduce yourself? I won't say anything.
Joey Eichler, historian, communist.
Okay, everyone's really stretching with their introductions today. I'm Mary, and I believe a few things about the moon. The first thing I believe, though, is that moon landing of ours was probably fake.
Please go.
And we're live.
We have a comment already.
Oh, shit.
Catherine says that her friend comments that Neil Armstrong actually landed on Mars.
Fuck!
Mary, that's your sister.
First of all, shout out to my blood, Catherine. Glad you're watching there. Yeah, Mars is not something we prepared for today, but we love your interaction. Stay tuned. We'll definitely be talking about Mars in later episodes.
Mars is Shark Week, baby.
I mean, I personally have watched a clip of John Glenn a few times, most recently today in preparation for this, and he has alluded to...
I watched some John Mayer for this.
And what did John Mayer have to say about the moon landing being fake?
I didn't mean to derail you. Well, it was just to help me.
I watched some John Legend before this, being Jesus.
Wow, John is a common male name, so...
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's been established, but you know, he essentially though has alluded to in poetic terms, you know, that the moon landing could be fake, and that, you know, the Van Allen belt, we'll get into that in a little bit, but that could be possibly impossible to get through, and it's weird how NASA can't keep anything consistent, because sometimes they'll talk about how you can't get through that Van Allen belt, and then other times, you know, they say that we landed on the moon.
Follow the money.
Okay, so if we're going to begin with the moon landing, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
ready.
start how we always start and go around and see what everybody thinks. Like, moon landing, real or fake? No long answers, just real or fake. Joe.
Like, capital T, the moon landing, original moon landing, fake.
Great. Real or fake?
Real.
Real dumb you are.
What?
What?
Come again? We have a call coming in. I'm going to pick it up. But for now, can you repeat what you just said?
I said...
know it's not an excuse.
I said that the moon landing was
Hello?
real.
And I said real dumb.
Are you ready to go on?
Wait, we gotta get Mary's opinion first.
Oh,
Okay,
you guys
we'll
all
get
know my
Mary's
opinion.
opinion.
No, you guys know my opinion. Let's take a call. Moon landing's fake. Moon can be really whatever you want it to be. I think it's a feminine energy and possibly an
Really fake,
organic
it's really fake.
spaceship. Real. Moon fake landing.
Alright, awesome. Fuck. Seemore hung up.
Seemore.
Call me
Whoa!
back.
Seemore, call us
Seemore,
back.
what's
We've
your
been waiting
sign,
to talk to you.
baby?
Call me maybe.
Call me back. I'm ready to take your call right now.
Tell me all your problems, you fucking weirdo.
Wow, let's not alienate Seemore. He may be our biggest fan.
That's true.
But yeah, please, if you're watching, feel free to comment. We'll be very interactive with you. Well, but while we're waiting on Seemore's call, I just thought I would kind of list off for you guys, since I know you don't probably, even if you believe Joey, you probably don't believe, like, on the level I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a few things. One of the big ones is the flag. The flag on the moon. We'll get into
No, it's
flags
okay.
later.
Are we gonna get this call? Maybe I can call them back.
Well,
The number is 840-420.
Seriously?
Yeah.
how is that
Legit.
possible?
I don't know. There's no. fucking-
Listen, let's
What
catch our.
the
6 number phone number.
I'd like to catch our audience up. Maybe you guys can help me. We have a big fan
We
that
got a
comments
cop
a lot.
that won't leave us alone.
Either someone tracking us or someone who really does like us. Their name is Seemore.
I don't
What's-
think it's impossible that a cop could really like us.
that's-
I think it's Neil Armstrong.
It would just be a conflict of interest, but we won't tell them, and they're not gonna like turn myself in. So if you want to like party, you know.
But yeah, Seemore essentially has just been hitting us up and DMing us and calling us and hanging up.
All right. Well,
Allegedly a reptile.
call
Allegedly.
us back, Seemore. Until then, let's move on. We are going to start.
I can
With-
just rage right in.
Well, we're gonna start. Oh, the
Oh.
fucking phone call.
Seymour.
Hello?
Hi, Seemore.
So, dude.
Are you. I can't hear you very well. Just a moment.
Does it sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. Just a sec.
All right.
Somebody come take this and put it
Seemore,
over
how are
there.
you doing today? How's your Sunday been, Seemore?
Am I talking to you?
This is Mary on the live stream. You're watching Saturday Night Live. You're live.
So, I was friends with Steven Kubrick,
With who?
and I saw him with Kubrick.
Who were you friends with, Seemore?
You're friends with
The
Kubrick?
big moon landing.
Kubrick? Seemore?
Like Stanley Kubrick? The famous filmer
Yeah.
of the moon landing?
Yes. But he actually didn't go by Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, sure, Seemore. We're listening. How old are you, Seemore?
37 plus 30.
30?
No, 82. I'm from a different time. You wouldn't understand.
Are you like... Seemore, are you like a time traveler?
I am a time traveler. I'm a king.
Seymour, were you talking? This is Joey speaking. You told me your name was David earlier.
That was the fake name. That was my human name.
Oh, okay.
Seemore is my birth name.
So, what can you tell us
Later.
about Kubrick?
Kubrick was in cahoots with Neil Armstrong. They had different names back then, though. Those were their public names.
Well,
They had different names. So he was in cahoots with Neil Armstrong, but they had different names back then.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not what we, as the reptilians, knew them as.
so you are a reptilian, confirmed.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Confirmed.
Well, I'm glad you're listening, Seemore. It's really great to talk to you. We definitely welcome all calls.
It wasn't even filmed on American soil. It was filmed not even on Earth. But it wasn't filmed on the moon.
You know, that's weird. I've heard rumors that it was filmed at Area 51.
Area 51 isn't on Earth.
Really?
Really.
Well, tell us more. I mean,
Elon Musk is trying to go public with people on Mars. He's trying to make an easy transition for you guys to understand that we've already had a base there.
we already have what there?
A base on Mars.
We already have colonies on Mars. Is that?
Excuse me?
Okay, guys, I feel like Seemore's taking us on a fucking goose chase.
No, Seemore, I just want to let you know, I don't downplay your beliefs and your experiences.
I do.
Well, if you've got a problem, you should.
I got a solution, too.
Alright, guys. I think we should move on.
Bye, Seemore. We'll see you next time, big fella.
Call back when you got a comment on the show.
Thank you for calling in.
I think Seemore hung up anyway.
You got beamed.
Wow, I think
right.
you guys were kind of rude to him, to be
I
honest.
just feel
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I just feel like the viewers at home, it's not as exciting for them as it is for us. You know?
I'm just staying on brand all the time.
Like,
We've been getting calls, messages, friend requests from Seemore. Seemore's been commenting on the videos, but like to the average viewer, it might just seem like part of the video.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
So I'm just kind of like, I'd rather stick to like what we're doing than like chase Seemore because.
Right.
I
So
feel like
let's
Seymour
just
will
go.
do
Let's
himself.
go
Wow,
in.
the
This
one
isn't-
person who
Seemore
loves
show.
this show the
Okay.
most, and
Yeah.
we've just.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we won't lose Seymour's
You gotta,
viewership.
you gotta break
Alright.
a couple eggs to make an omelet, baby. That's what it is.
Speaking of breaking eggs, we'll get into that later.
Speaking of breaking eggs, actually first we're gonna do the moon landing. So moon landing theories. I think two of us
Are we doing a show about eggs?
We'll get
us
there.
have a theory to present, right? And
I have a theory.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
that's two of you.
Oh, sweet.
All right, cool. Let's just start with whoever wants to go.
Joey,
I'll go.
yeah, you clearly.
All right.
Okay,
so
all right. So here's what happens. So basically, the whole premise of the American standpoint in the Cold War is American exceptionalism, right? It's inundated into every aspect of our attitude. It's American exceptionalism. It's white supremacy. It's global imperial state capitalism. It's justified by saying that we are the best. We cannot be beaten. We are the best naturally.
yes.
This is the divine right of kings type shit. So with that, there is never any question that any crime is permissible. That's just the way things are. So what happens is you see a bunch of fucking half-cocked communists, my man, 110%, out in fucking space. They're like out there in space. What does America do? You got people looking at it saying there's no way these potato smashing ding dongs could ever beat us. You know, the Nazis came in, they fucked everything up. The Russians jumped back. What's up? And then they get into space before us. How humiliating is that? It almost makes it look like capitalism isn't the logical order of the world. What do you do? Anything you have to do. You gotta nuke a tropical island? Shit. That's what that is. You gotta get some people together in your cousin's basement, put on some fucking fish bowls and hop around and then...
What are
Whoa.
fish bowls?
What's his helmet?
The helmets. He's talking about filming,
It's fake. It's fake. It's fake because everything was on the line. You have Central Europe hanging in the balance. We're talking about German unification. We're talking about deep Iron Curtain politics, baby. This shit is not a game. People, they are toppling sovereign governments. We have the Gulf of Tonkin is declassified. Henry Kissinger lied through his teeth. The truth is out there everywhere. It's it's visible.
For the viewers at home, what's the Gulf of Tonkin?
The
And
Gulf
if
of
you
Tonkin was a
briefly-
lie. The Gulf of Tonkin was the lie that started our involvement in what became known as the Vietnam War, which was a suggestion that the Vietnamese had deliberately targeted a craft in the Gulf of Tonkin. It was later confessed by Henry Kissinger, who is still alive, who has never served any jail time, that it was a bold-faced lie. Now, I say that to say, these are my conspiracy theories are the ones that are not theories, because they're true. So what I'm saying is that it's like communist history here. We were willing to do whatever it took to contain and destroy this ideology. We can't have it fucking planted in the moon.
So
It's a no-brainer.
much
So
time.
what do? Follow the money!
with this theory, though, so why hasn't the fake moon landing been declassified? I mean, the Gulf of
Because it's too
Tonkin
big.
seems a lot more incriminating. Like, we got thousands of people killed horrifically,
So, what's your
because of
take?
that. I mean, I'm just like, I'm saying if the government faked the moon landing to show up the Russians, like in a show of propaganda, why would that not now be declassified when a lot worse stuff that we did to show up the Russians is now declassified and is a matter of public record, like the Gulf of Tonkin, like COINTELPRO.
So your take is that
The government would have admitted to it if they had faked the moon
So
landing.
it's real.
by now. That the moon landing was real, yeah.
Follow the money.
I mean, here's my thing: is like, how many like millions of dollars do they spend on movies?
And I want to say, to respond to that there's I'm not saying we've never been to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying and that's the thing where it's like, you can kind of flub that. And that's just like basic, like, Army practice. Sir, are you there? Have you moved into the area you were supposed to? No, yeah, I'm there. And then it's like you get there the next day and you're like, yeah, I was there. It's like,
What?
it's like your parents. Are you at home studying? Yeah, for sure. And then you get home, but you weren't at the time. I mean,
So
the
you're
Gulf of
saying-
Tonkin was one event. If you've now been to the moon a couple of times, you can lie about the first one. The Gulf of Tonkin was one event that caused the big thing to happen, was going to be found out. Just go ahead and pull a Reagan and be
Okay.
like, I'm sorry.
so.
That's, yeah, sorry.
So you're saying that the first Apollo mission was fake,
Yeah,
but
Or
the rest
the
of them
11th,
were probably
but,
real.
yeah.
Probably they are real.
Once we had time to develop the technology,
Okay.
the Russians were no longer incentivized to fuck with it
All
anymore.
right, Mary.
Well, yeah, I just think it's weird that, like, NASA does and doesn't have money. Like, why was NASA, like, the biggest deal and everybody paid attention to it back in the 60s, and now it's so underplayed, and, you know, I don't know. I agree with you about, like, certain aspects of it. Obviously, like, the control factor. But I also think that, what's being kind of overlooked here by everyone in this room, except maybe me and Gabby. I haven't really heard Gabby's opinions yet, but I feel like
You just want to assume.
you guys usually kind of like, you're a little closer to what I talk about and you just disagree to, like, I don't know, like, you're just really into, like, what you were told and you don't question it, apparently, Jeffrey. But, yeah, I think there's a bigger scheme to everything, and I think there's, like, yeah, there's all these, like, players down here, but there's also, like, the people pulling all the strings, the man behind the curtain. And, like, if you
God.
want to think about, like,
Yeah, who is that?
created
Jesus.
reality, think about the movie industry for 1 second, right?
Mm,
So you just implored it yourself, follow the money.
follow
The money. And if we really want to follow the money, let's look at the movie business.
It's a lot of
A lot of money. And a lot of actors, a lot of people who can put on certain faces, like Kubrick. I know we don't want to substantiate our callers'
Can neither
information,
confirm nor
but we
deny.
can bring up Kubrick's name because it's oftentimes linked to this event.
Okay,
True.
and also I was going to say a lot of people would make that argument and say that's like a detracting point from this being a conspiracy, because if that many people knew about it, somebody would have said something. But
Not
I
a-
think that's what we would have said about a lot of the fucked up shit going on in
And-
Hollywood. So
Think you can get people to be a
It
part
takes
of
a while.
something without them knowing fully what they're part of working on.
that's true. I mean, it's like a lot of movies have used moon landings in them. Who's to say that it's just
And-
not the same?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could have all just been fucking wiped out.
Well, I think there's
Well, that's
greater
also-
knowledge, by the way, that they are covering up by lying about the moon.
What?
Although, like, yeah, if we want to bring this up on Saturday Night Live, yes, the United States government has a lot of bloodshed on their hands.
Oh yeah, that's true. Gabby,
I
what's
don't know
your
why
take?
we have to bring it back to communism. I hope that's the only time we do that this show.
I mean,
like
that's the crux
enough.
of my whole argument, so...
And his whole identity.
Wow. That's not
Gabby,
true.
yeah, I believe you asked Gabby what her
enjoy...
opinion was.
I like riding bicycles. I like to cook.
That's true.
I
he does
like
to cook.
a lot of movies and music, and I like
He
going
likes-
for walks.
Okay.
Going for walks
Jeffrey,
on the beach,
about the
pina
moon.
coladas in the rain.
About things that we can actually figure out by the end of this conversation.
Wow.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
you don't believe this landing was fake at all, but have you even gone into any of the reasons why people think the footage is fake?
Yes, I have.
And you don't believe any of them?
No, I haven't come across any that seemed compelling.
What about the fact that the flag looks like it's waving in the wind?
So, yes, I've looked into this. The flag clearly has an L-shaped, bar on the top of it to keep it standing up straight. And what flapping it does down below is clearly not, the effect of wind. It's just the effect of movement, because the moon still has gravity.
I don't buy it. But let's fact check. I'll find an image of that. While I'm doing that, let's see if we have any responses to these comments.
I have. All right. Seemore, before the call, said that outfit changes, which is true. We've changed clothes. Charlotte said that she's kind of loving the Seemore storyline, not gonna lie. Seemore, after we hung up, said, "You've let me down."
I knew we were going to alienate him.
They said, Seemore continued to comment and said, "No, we've never been to the moon. It is a satellite, but we've been to Mars."
But are there any other comments?
No. That's all we've got so far. Let me put up the comment sign.
Yeah, comment, guys.
And
We
I'll
need.
go-
Some help.
All right, you guys can discuss those
We're
comments.
treading
while
water right
I'm
now.
gonna go look for the.
Well, let's hit him with a couple quick ones. Let's talk about the footprints, because here's the problem with the wind. Here's the problem with the wind. If you're a cuck like me and you believe that we've been to the moon since, one of the issues they say about the moon is you can see footprints from, like Neil Armstrong, from the OGs, because there's no wind on the moon. So you make a footprint on the moon, there's nobody coming around kicking it up, unless there's more at play here. But in successive landings, people have sent back, "Oh, check it out, it's that boy's footprint. What up, we here?" So how do you explain that atmosphere that allows for a footprint to be relatively preserved for decades, but it's still got a little
Here's
flutter.
my thing. Much like taxes, the fact that it's not even no one here can really explain it. So why are people so fervently against any kind of concept of the moon other than what they've been told, when they can't even themselves explain all of the science that is just apparently approved?
You need to
And
cast off your
who's
smallpox
approving
blanket.
Who's approving the science? McGraw-Hill. McGraw-Hill.
Who's
McGraw?
improving
Who is
gravity?
McGraw-Hill?
Yeah, you've just taken it from fucking horse's mouth.
And it's
Gravity?
Yeah, like an idiot.
Fair.
All right, so I've got the image pulled up.
Image of the flag. Let's see, where's it at?
Also, if you ever even YouTube it, there's so many NASA glitches.
Okay.
There's times you can see the wires when they're just
There's
doing interviews
there's
from
no
space.
stars.
So,
No, well,
we're looking at the flag now. I think that it is clearly visible that there is some kind of support along the top. The bottom is waving, but I don't think that looking at an image of it really tells the whole story, because it's not up for debate whether or not there was a support to hold it up. The purpose of the support was supposedly because if there wasn't one, you wouldn't be able to see the flag. It would just kind of lag and look stupid.
Who's looking?
the world.
The photos. But, however, from photo to photo, while I was looking, I did notice that the ripples on the bottom, and the middle do change from picture to picture. And I guess the only explanation for that is that when the astronauts literally touched it and whatever, it would change. But it's
That's not
That
real.
doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
I don't know. I mean, I think scientifically that would be hard to reproduce. That now I'm not for this. I'm just helping Jeffrey. It'd be hard to reproduce the lack of motion.
What's your fucking theory? We missed that.
My theory about the moon landing is that I agree. I mean, I don't think it matters whether, I think you're both right that it was fake. I don't know whether it was, what the purpose for that is. I don't recall.
Follow the money.
One thing might be the purpose is just the simplest thing, entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen
It's what humans need to not question the fact that they have to go to work at jobs that suck their soul and their life force away.
That's true. It was something to.
The
Well,
goal.
see, this is also.
Land on the moon
This is
one
what I'm
day.
gonna say.
Your kids could be an astronaut.
I'm not even necessarily the thing about it's not even to say that America was wrong to fake the moon landing, because in many regards the space race was a relief. It was well, it's better for us to be flexing here than it is in the fields of Korea or Vietnam or Central Europe. So people were yeah, whoever wins the space race is clearly the motherfucker. The motherfucker. And Khrushchev was here comes that boy. And Kennedy was barely. And then it was done. So, so lives were saved, Lives were saved because it prevented the Cold War from escalating. When Khrushchev was well, I guess we blew that one. Let's go back to communism.
We have a comment for Joey, I think.
Davo, hopefully I'm saying that right, said it was to beat Russia to the moon. It was political flexing. So he agrees with Joey's theory about it.
Follow the money.
Stop saying that.
Okay, sorry.
All right, listen, I think we've followed enough money. I think if we really want to follow the money, though, to be completely honest with you guys, we need to talk about what money even is. We're following literally a contraption devised to control people.
Contraption. Nice usage of the word contraption.
Thank you. And I think the thing is, knowledge is power. So why? Why fake a moon landing? Besides just, distracting, the feeble minds of the, commoners.
Okay.
But, if they really have access to something and our brains are closed off to being able to experience higher levels of existence, that's, the greatest enslavement of all. I think at the end of the day, it's always money. If you're following the money, you're following the power structure. And I think the biggest power structures are the ones we can't see. Because strategically, it's the man behind the curtain. It's the person we can't see. And I think enlightenment is the greatest kind of acquirement you can have on this planet.
Gabby, can you bring up the image of Joseph Stalin's hat?
I have some more...
Did you save that image?
What?
I have more proof,
about
too.
It's in the group chat.
No,
You
I'm
didn't...
sorry.
Wow.
I mean,
Well, here.
it was a meme, so I didn't think you wanted it.
Well,
The shadows in the footage are fucked
Let
up.
me just show this real
By the
quick
way.
for the people back home.
The
when it
moon
comes
footage. The
when
moon
it-
footage
When
shadows.
it comes to following
This
the...
is really not important.
Just, you decide.
What is he showing them?
It's just a
So
fake meme.
frustrating.
What is he showing them?
It's
It's
just
a
a fake...
communism
Don't
meme.
worry about it.
I thought we meant... Ugh!
I never agreed
We
to
have let
that.
you get away with this a lot. And honestly, you're using it like a communist crutch. I knew I was gonna reach a point where I couldn't be calm around you anymore, and it's starting to
I
happen.
think you were there a long time
No,
ago.
I've been really relaxed this episode.
Yeah, my ass.
All right,
Okay, guys.
so shadows.
Shadows.
Nothing. Okay, what were you gonna say, Gabby? Because literally no one can say
I was a
anything.
little bit more interested in...
Talking about why fake the moon landing other than space race.
That's two good reasons. Yeah.
That is a good reason. But I am of the opinion that I agree with you that we did go to the moon. That it was faked, but we did go to the moon. I think that they went to the moon. I think they saw something they didn't want to see, and so when they came home, they were like, "We got to show something to the people." And so
Also,
Stanley Kubrick directed a moon landing video that they played around the world.
But this one without the alien colony that was already there.
Right, obviously.
One thing I want to mention really quickly.
Or, you know, without the traces of ancient civilization that might have been there. Or without the evidence of Hollow Moon.
Or
Which
without the communists already just chilling up there,
First-
like, hey, what's up?
First of all, I really want to break a few things down about that. Kubrick or not, there's fishy business. And I think the whole thing is, like, if you need to break, you watching at home and everyone in this room needs to break all their concepts of reality, because the thing is, things can exist that are literally unfathomable. We think all the time, like, oh, how did they live back in the day? Because they didn't even have plumbing. But it's like, just because you can't imagine it doesn't mean it's not real. So try and have a little bit of an imagination. Also, there's this thing called the Van Allen belt, which you can't even get through. They say a lot of different people who study space say you can't get through the Van Allen belt. So what if the moon's actually within the Van Allen belt,
Yeah,
closer
Van
to
Halen
the
belt.
Earth than we think?
All
Some
right.
people think the moon is a holograph.
If you couldn't get through the Van Allen belt, then...
If you do think it's a holograph, comment down below. I think really the moon, what if it's a place in your heart and soul that you can visit if you actually try to dream the dream that you were meant in your soul path to have,
Doesn't that
and
like,
not the dream that capitalism is trying to sell you.
But doesn't that kind of, that's like the
What? You sounded like British for 1 second.
doesn't that physically sort of
Oh,
encapsulate?
physically. Like, we're talking about... You
If
think I'm
you-
talking about physically restrained science?
You make me want to just scream.
Well...
When you have the moon is a place where you're talking about you can go like in your heart or whatever, but then it's like,
So condescending.
well, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just trying to paraphrase to keep the conversation moving. You already said it very well. You could say communism or whatever, you know, like you could, but I wouldn't take that as an insult because I know you're just trying to move the conversation along. So anyway,
Wow.
if you say that the moon is some place where you know, on this more personal significance, I guess.
Well, I think it exists on multi-dimensional levels.
I just feel like that stitches up some of our like spirituality with this physical thing that is the moon. So, for example, if like Kim Jong-un nukes the moon, that's a part of our spiritual power that we've lost, which is sad. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
think even when we nuke the Earth, it's a loss of spiritual power.
Shit, true.
And I think why this is important and fascinating to me, and maybe everyone else, whether you're defending that the moon landing was real or it's fake, is I think, you know, the universe is a deep part of us. And I think there's always some kind of wanting to know what's out there and what it is and why we're here and where are we even. And I think when there's one thing that's told to you and you're made to be ridiculed and like people I'm sure have acted like you're insane about communism in America. So it's like conspiracies anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, people act like you're immediately crazy when really, what if you're just trying to entertain a different truth?
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
I just thought of that.
Vinny, can you take a seat and weigh in for a second?
That Dave Matthews
I'm
Band
just
song.
passing through to get something to eat. I
Ladies
really
and
don't have,
gentlemen, let's hear it for wait. Hang on.
Hi. I really don't
I
have
can't
time.
introduce you yet. I gotta wait until I have my thing ready. Ladies and gentlemen, Vinny. Oh shit! Shit! Vinny.
It's great to be here. Hi. I really don't have time for this, but I'll weigh in for lunch.
Quick.
Catch me up.
Take.
Give me
Hot
a
take.
Cash me outside,
How
Vinny.
do you feel about the moon landing?
the moon landing. I really don't. I honestly don't care.
Seriously,
Yeah, I don't care.
what do you think though?
I think that I don't care so much. I care so little that I can't even pretend to give you a bullshit answer.
So you're just so out of touch with your feminine side that you don't even care about the moon and your connection
Sad.
to it, and even like any aspect. Like you don't look at the moon with wonderment and.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah, right.
But
Nice
you've
save.
do
never
that-
thought
my
about whether or
ass.
not man has gone to touch the surface of that face that glows at you every night.
All right. Well, when you put it that way,
What?
Just when you said that face, Mel looked at me. I was like,
Yeah, I think that
Really?
I think we've been there. I think man has touched the surface of the moon in some way.
the first time?
Be it a footprint, or we sent a rover up there or something. Look, here's a moon.
There's the moon.
There's a moon right there.
Oh.
Do I think that as I heard you describe it earlier, Joey, the capital T moon landing? Do I think that was faked? Oh man, no, I think we got there.
That, like, day one? Like,
But
nice work, America. Great job.
Mission accomplished.
yeah,
Mission accomplished.
fucking mission accomplished.
My ass.
However, I wouldn't put it past them to have had a contingency plan to have that ready. Have it. I think they did some pre-production.
Do you
on
think
the
they
fake moon
had
landing.
two sets of the astronauts? Like, there were two guys who looked like Buzz Aldrin and two Neil Armstrongs. And the crew they actually sent, like, boiled up in the Van Allen belt. And then the other guys were, like,
No.
also actors, like Paul McCartney.
No.
How he got killed by the MI5, which is like the CIA, but in Britain.
No, I don't believe
Because
it.
he was running with the devil in the Van Halen belt.
All right,
cool.
Vinny, we won't keep you from food. Thanks,
No,
Vinny.
that's
All right,
fine.
Vinny.
Thank you.
Get the fuck out of here.
I was happy to give my honest opinion.
Yep, you
Bye,
did.
Vinny.
Come back in when you have an actual
bullshit
opinion.
attitude with you.
I gave an opinion.
It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
After you bullied me.
That's my opinion.
After you bullied me into it.
All right,
Well,
look up
do
the
better
Van
next
Allen
time.
belt.
Yeah,
and,
listen to some Van Halen and
I think
come
it was
back.
fake. I think they would have caught. They of course wouldn't tell you about that because they don't want you to be in touch with your actual, the parts of your spine that give you enlightenment and intuition.
Let's talk about the moon for a minute.
Okay.
Hey, if I cook a sausage in here, is that going to be too loud?
No.
Yeah.
My man. Cook that sausage.
I'm going to see what I can do
I
without
just
being
think
too...
they tell you can't go to the moon, but I feel like you can go to the moon in your mind. So
let's
that's
talk
like they're
about-
telling you like the spacecraft that is your pineal gland isn't operational. That's not going to fry up in the Van Allen belt. You can astrally project anywhere, but they don't want you to know that.
Well, I'm thinking about like what the moon does, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Like, sure, go ahead.
I've got a comment.
Oh,
What's up, moon brother?
Right,
or sister.
So, Seemore said Russia's never been to the moon. We faked the moon landing because it's actually a satellite used for our people to contact our planet from Earth, the lizard people, I assume. And then Irene Ochoa said, Joey, stop being such an ass.
Wow, Irina. Nice.
Is that your mom, Gabby?
All right, let's do. What do you still have to say about the moon?
So
Because I have not heard any actual proof from you that it's real.
why can't, how do you explain satellites that have reached beyond the Van Allen belt if everything's going to burn?
They haven't. Satellites don't get sent
So
past the Van
satellites
Allen.
don't exist.
Yeah, why do you think you've watched in your lifetime multiple spaceships go up and they just get burnt up?
How do you make a cell phone call?
How does
That's-
Google see the entire planet?
Sometimes I feel like you guys want to fight against the fact the collective unconscious is like more powerful than Wi-Fi.
I'm not sure what the collective unconscious has to do with the Van Allen belt.
Are you saying the collective unconscious is the infrastructure for our phone calls?
I'm saying that the power of our brains is something like we don't even tap into.
What is
Well, that has nothing to do with the moon landing that I can see.
It's like, look, is that your brain or is this your brain, Joey? Is this your brain
Hell yeah.
or is this your brain?
Irene said, hi, Mary.
Hi, Irene.
Sad.
Happy birthday. Birthday week.
Yeah, let's party. Alright, so we've talked about the moon landing. I think
But
we're
if-
in a good spot where we're asking each other questions. Anybody have any questions that they want some facts on? Like I can check for you? Mel does. Shit. Mel, what you
Mel's
got?
up on the moon right now. This cat on the moon.
She's going crazy because I put some chicken on the floor.
Oh
my God,
as
Matt.
fast as you can.
Follow the money.
Yeah, follow the
Follow that
money.
Woo.
She loves it.
Have at it now.
Here, Mel.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, you guys really,
So
really
if
don't
you
have
think that everything
any
would burn
more
up
to
outside of the Van Allen belt, so that means that there
I mean,
have
I
been
don't
no.
think that NASA, your favorite NASA thinks that.
All right, we can fact check if NASA thinks that everything would burn up outside of the Van Allen belt.
Well, I can answer that right now.
The deal with the Van Allen belts is that there is two of them. There's an inner and outer. I guess it's just 2 layers. The inner layer is more dangerous and has high levels of radiation. So the issue with that people have with them going through it is that it would be physically harmful to the astronauts. However, apparently the outer layer is one that takes a longer time to go through, and it's not as dangerous. So they pass through the more dangerous layer pretty quickly in a matter of minutes, and they spend a longer time in the less dangerous level. However, it does kind of strike me as strange that in multiple interviews, I think it was Armstrong. Was it Armstrong who said that they didn't go through it, and then was told that they did, and then immediately, like in the next interviews, was just like, "Oh yeah, we went straight on through it without like." So it was like a little bit of an inconsistency with whether or not they, like he said.
I'd also like to know these exact quotes of like Armstrong and Buzz Allen.
Well, we watched the video earlier. You were there.
Yeah, and he didn't really seem
He
to
said
say anything.
in the video he's quoted as saying they went straight through it after being quoted saying that they didn't. Anyway, it's not a huge deal whether or not they went through it. The fact is that like it's possible.
I don't know what's wrong with me to see it before.
Well, here's my thing.
That's
like,
not the biggest
the
deal.
Kardashians literally fake everything, including OJ's innocence. And we want to
Wow.
act like the NASA can't have the same long-running game that they do.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We made the biggest omelet the world's ever eaten. You tell me we didn't break any eggs, we didn't cut any peppers. I don't buy it.
Yes.
Follow the money.
It's like I'm with
Please
you.
stop following the money.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And yes,
It's just really good.
Nice. What do you got?
Your food
What do you
or
got
the
here?
show?
I got some teriyaki sauce.
Can we get a close up on this food?
Yeah, turn it.
Smells really good.
It's the teriyaki sauce.
It doesn't look that great on camera. I'll be real.
No, it looks pretty bad, but it smells really good. I can
There you go,
verify
right
that.
there. Wow. Mmm.
yeah, I guess it like at the end
Anyway.
of the day it doesn't matter.
Is there a
if you
possibility?
went to
So,
the moon or not, unless you like have a dream.
Or if it like changed the whole course of world history, you know.
do you think it's possible that like they stuck Buzz
Kennedy's
Aldrin
dead.
and Neil
So is the
Armstrong
Soviet Union.
in one of those like when you go to Disney World, they put you in those rides where it's like you see the screen and the whole thing shakes.
Yeah.
Captain EO.
I've never-
They put Buzz
never-
Aldrin and
tricked
Captain
the
EO.
astronauts
I-
into thinking that they were in
Yeah,
space.
did they trick the ass?
Dude, what? Do you know that thing they had, the thing in Orlando where you could go into the space,
Excuse
like
me.
the space simulation for
Excuse me.
kids? Remember, like,
Apollo 11
Yeah.
was actually the submarine ride at Disneyland.
and here's the thing: is they always try to
They've
like
had the technology for years.
with any kind of obfuscated kind of agenda or conspiracy against people, there's always symbols and like allusions to it. So think about like how they even like started the like Kennedy Space Center thing where kids could like do the whole training. Think about like certain movies made by Kubrick, like even 2001 A Space Odyssey. It's like, whoa. And then you can also think about like even at MTV, like think if you get the Video Music Award, that's an astronaut. And like MTV always had the astronaut with the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, like now this is in my visual zeitgeist. I'm always going to picture that person. So like,
Are you saying that
You think
MTV's flag, astronaut with the flag, is somehow like some weird, subtle, subliminal message
totally.
to get us to believe that we landed on the moon for sure?
I just think it's not even so much to get us to believe or
Hey
not.
kids,
It's just to like,
hip hop is cool, and also we landed on the moon.
I mean, that's like not exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that like why is that such an important symbology? And think about like the whole like MTV like lifestyles of the rich and famous.
MTV
like,
Ultra.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ow!
I'm sorry.
Fuck!
I'm so sorry. I was trying to walk past you.
What?
I just like kicked Mary full force in the knee.
In my knee. Tanya Harding.
Sorry.
Like it was an accident.
God.
Fucking
I'm
sabotage.
sorry. How do you feel?
Joey, why don't you take those boots off in here?
Jesus, he won't. And he got them all over the couch the past couple of days. He won't take them off.
Yeah, dude, you're walking all over the
That's
gross
a
city of
conspiracy.
Chicago, and you're
That's
dragging the
literally-
city into the apartment. It's disgusting. Do your feet smell that bad?
Yeah, probably.
I just like my boots. I didn't expect to kick Mary in the knee.
No, now it's a problem.
I guess so.
Anyway,
Okay.
what I'm curious about is
Wait, I have a comment. Irene says passive aggressive, Joey.
What was?
You kicking Mary.
Wow.
No, it's
Irene,
just
why don't you
aggressive,
mind your own
aggressive.
business? How about that?
Physically aggressive.
Whoa.
what I'm fascinated about.
I've
is-
had it. I've had enough.
Well, you should take a break. Instead of telling my mom to mind her own business. She's watching her fucking show.
Well, she's being mean to me. Tell her to quit picking on me.
We support you, Irene. We support all the fans.
Hi, Irene. I haven't met you, but I've heard great things. So it's a pleasure to mostly meet you.
E-meet you. Sweet.
To eat
All
you.
right.
Eat
Well,
meat.
Alright, have we talked enough about moon landing? Are we all kind of set in our ways, or is there still space to...
I just
I
wanted,
saw a spaceship take off once.
I wanted to throw out that I'm always intrigued by the
Well, we're 46 minutes in and we haven't even talked about Hollow Earth. So...
But
keep-
the-
I
I
keep
mean,
trying
Hollow
to-
Moon.
I keep trying to say
Hollow
something, and
Moon,
I'm getting
you're
cut off.
is there a hollow moon?
I keep getting cut off.
That's
All right,
one of the
well, let's
theories.
ask that question right now. Gabe,
It's the moon
this
hollow.
is your moon theory.
Vinny wanted
Okay.
to say something.
Doesn't matter.
Here we go,
Welcome,
Hollow
Taiwan.
Moon. Alright, so I lost my sources. My source went down when I was trying to go live a million
Oh,
times.
dude, I just smell your feet almost immediately.
Aw, sad.
Oh, I'm
Aw.
sorry, Joey. I didn't mean to strike. Hey, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Hollow Moon theory. We all said we didn't want you to do that.
Damn, sorry.
Do you need another?
Everyone said that
I
we
thought
didn't want to
just Joey
bite
said
Curb
he
Your
didn't want that.
Enthusiasm. Okay.
How's
Anyway,
your knee?
Better than how your feet smell.
oh,
Do you
That would have been an
should
air
I
horn
put
moment.
I mean, Gabe's got boots on.
yeah, but I'm not hitting anybody.
Can I say something?
Yes.
There's a lot of these conspiracy theories are wrapped up in like these like little signals that the people in charge are like planting these little like the little coincidences. How much of that? I mean, are they really throwing shit out there? It's like, here, put this out there. They might connect the dots.
Well, that actually would be one thing that might compel me a little bit to believe in the conspiracy theories. Because my biggest beef with most of these conspiracy theories is, like, how are they keeping people shut up about it? And why are they putting in so much effort to keep people shut up about it? And so if there were occasional, like, little links, like, little winks, like Stanley Kubrick, like, trying to give us a little, like, you know...
The Coke can.
Thank you. The sea rock.
Are you? So is this to say that
Scaffolding.
the way they tie up the loose ends is like word's gonna get out, so let's put the word out there and
No, I
make the
mean-
connections
He
loose
means
enough.
that we've never seen like any of the word getting out. So he
I mean,
thinks
the
that
loose
loose
ends
ends
aren't that
would be
tied.
people fucking
Like,
up,
there
which is
are
natural.
loose ends, which makes more sense to me that there are
It-
loose ends that they haven't. Like,
And it's like if people are gonna say like if there's someone out there who knows for sure we didn't land on the moon and they say it, will just automatically be discredited because there's been a fun little puzzle that's already been solved and it's crazy to have even solved it, so of course it can't be true.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, I'm saying that if that's Jeffrey's like threshold for proof, we have a couple different coincidences, and one of them, interestingly enough,
Is a Mandela effect. We talked about the Mandela effect earlier. And so the Coke can...
This is what it's like when worlds collide.
The
Actually,
Coke
my
can...
feet smell fine.
If I can get it. Thanks. The Coke can was a story that a woman, anonymous woman from, I forget, Australia, said that when she watched on Australian news that for a moment on the bottom of the screen you could see like a Coke can move into view of like the camera, like on like as if it was on the moon with them, like just like
Did Coke even have cans in 1969?
Dude,
Of course.
let's fact check. But I would say that's not the first. That's not the
least.
least believable part of that story.
No.
But I guess it's the only verifiable part because, well, a few other
She
people
got buried.
did claim to have seen it as well. There were a few other calls and other people who publicly claimed to see it as well. There's no video of it, and there's no, like when people went back to look for that record that was cited, there was no record of, like, even the publication that had been written into. So, but people remember it. So,
Is that
Mandela
why-
effect, I guess.
Fuck.
Or just that there's no.
Or just that it was a lie that one conspiracy magazine just made up.
It's all these head games, though.
True.
Well, for sure. What was I actually supposed to be talking about right now?
We were going
We're
to take
talking
a
about-
break.
Or we were going to talk about Hollow Moon. Or did you want to
yeah.
talk about more evidence for Jeffrey, such as the Sea
Oh,
Rock?
yeah, the
The-
Sea Rock as well. So in a photo from the moon landing, there is an image. I don't have it. I could get it, but I don't think anybody really cares. And it's not that compelling.
Google it.
I can't.
No, I mean if they
I've
care.
seen it.
If they care, they should
Oh,
Google
okay.
it. Why
Yeah.
don't
Your
you
phone's
guys?
Google-
millennials, unless you're
Google the
looking up
Sea Rock
information.
moon landing. I don't remember which
remember
Apollo
one.
mission it was. But here's what's important about it. It's that there's a cluster of rocks visible in the image. And if you zoom in real close, there's like a perfectly formed sea. Well, I guess the other way. Sea. No, yeah, I was right. What the fuck? It's backwards no matter which way I draw it. Anyway, there's a sea on the
You were
rock.
going the same way. You were just
Was
saying
I?
with different ends.
So there's a rock shaped like something
Uh-huh.
recognizable on the moon, so it's like a set piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying that like it had. No, it wasn't shaped like a sea. It had a sea, like a perfect sea etched into it.
Isn't the moon the one that has the the
that seems-
face thing? There's
Or like
a,
printed on
That's
it.
Mars.
That's
is that
Mars. The face is on Mars, and it's real.
I mean, and again,
Confirmed.
when you're Googling these things, if you're actually curious at home, like there's plenty of like YouTube compilations of NASA footage that's weird. Where like the video you remember from the 90s that they showed on Nickelodeon where there'd be astronauts and it's like, oh cool, they're eating jello, all this stuff. Like there's ways that like they could have manipulated that, and I can't go into it right now, but either way, like I think, unfortunately, when you're trying to sell us on space, there's no way people are going to watch that stuff and not question it.
True.
Alright, well, was there any other questions people wanted to fact check? Specifically? Or do we want to sign off on the moon landing and move on to Hollow Moon?
Mm.
I got nothing.
Good.
Typical. Joey, you still believe exactly what you believed when you came in.
Yeah.
So, can you, real quick, go through that? Like,
Yeah,
Two-
the stakes
two
were
seconds
too
real-
high. The stakes were too high. You're not gonna let the whole shit house go up in shit flames. You're not gonna let a bunch of fucking communists beat you to the moon.
alright. Done. Jeffrey, please take this chance to present any evidence that you might have that it was real.
Wow.
I feel like
Like, so smug.
I feel like every
Haircut.
I'm smug. My haircut is smug.
In the way you just laughed at that question.
I feel like
Well, that was
I've-
kind of a big question from Gabby.
Well,
like,
I mean,
let's
you
solve it.
haven't-
Is it?
It
okay.
shouldn't be that hard to present evidence.
I guess it's a
like,
big question for a small mind.
if that's what you believe.
Okay. Well, how and why would they have kept that secret for such a long
I don't
time?
mean like rhetorical evidence. I mean like actual evidence.
Okay, the video of the moon landing
Right,
and the
okay.
thousands of people that worked on the Apollo projects that
Boom.
insist that they actually did go to the moon, including the astronauts themselves.
How many of those people were
presented
communists?
evidence that could be fake. Where's
Not
your evidence? that it's
compelling. What was the evidence that it was fake?
I mean,
those
Everyone
thousands
at
of
Enron
people.
didn't know that the ship was going down. Like, why is it so hard to believe that,
Also-
like, a few people could know something and other people could be, like, manipulated into thinking they were serving a function? Like, it's easy enough for all those people you see on the screens, like,
This is
they could just
rhetorical,
have
though. This isn't
random
evidence.
videos playing.
You're all
Well,
just...
okay,
Are you saying it was like how in North Korea they make people sit on computers and pretend they're doing something?
I mean, that's like real life things that happen, like
No. Well, here's what
smoke
I'm
and
saying.
mirrors.
I'm saying, like, literally this whole time we've been bringing up, like, so you have the flag evidence that you still haven't said anything about. Other than,
You guys just ignore everything
well, I mean, you
that
just
I
pointed
say.
out the
Well-
obvious. Like, no one was contesting that there was a rod on the top of the flag.
Yeah, and so the slight variations in where the ripples are is just from gravity.
No, man. That's
You think if you hold up
Okay,
a
let me
piece of
look that up for
fabric
you.
on the moon that it's just going to stay frozen completely still with the
I don't
exact
think
ripples?
that. NASA thinks that. That's literally what they say as a rebuttal to people being like, hey, it's moving. You're arguing the opposite point. Like, you're saying it is moving, that makes sense.
It's
just gravity.
barely.
We're saying-
It's not fluttering though. It's like barely moving, so like it's slightly different
Are you
from
saying
like
that because you're assuming that's true or because you have evidence that it's true?
gravity.
Gravity.
So you're just like in your mind,
Do you have evidence that it's moving?
yes, there's photo evidence that it's moving.
From
Moving
frame to
beyond
frame,
just
baby.
the slight movement.
Well,
But you're insinuating that it's
saying
moving
I don't
from
have
wind.
evidence
What about-
that it's moving faster isn't evidence that it's not.
What about when they speed up the footage and you can tell when it's sped up it looks like normal footage? What about the fact that it's manipulated to make them look like that weird hop they do? How come we've never seen someone do that in modern times in HD? How is it I have
Well, nobody's
literally
been to
how
the
is it
moon.
I have a more advanced computer system in my phone right now than they had to make that ship go to the moon, and we haven't done it since because they know we won't fucking buy it anymore. What are you clinging to right now? The flag? Because that's not the only weird thing.
Why would
None
we
of the
need to go
astronauts
back?
can keep their story straight if you watch interviews
Why
with
would
them.
we need to go back?
What are you talking about? There's supposedly water on the moon. Like, what do you mean we wouldn't go back? We make like all of Chicago explode to film the fucking Transformers 10 movie.
See, they
We
should've
do
left-
that, but we don't want to go to the moon.
They should have
Because
left
there's no
something.
money in it.
Okay, but
They should
here's
have left
the thing.
something cooler
Money isn't
than
real.
the flag. They should have left like some
No,
like
there was
tacos
something
or something.
That's a common question that Vinny asked and that you're trying to answer right now. But we're only talking about the United States. Why haven't other countries? Why has nobody gone
Because
back?
they got shit down here to worry about.
That's such a cop
Not.
out.
I mean, that's really like that. Yeah, that's like minimizing a lot of like.
Russia
other,
has sent like unmanned spacecrafts to the moon.
Yeah, well, boohoo, like that's great. Like, doesn't help the conversation at all. Nobody's saying that nothing's ever been to space. Like, we're saying that moon landing was fake.
Mm-hmm. But what didn't you just say? How come nobody else has been to the moon?
Well,
Like,
we need to see again, video evidence. That's what Mary's saying. Like, it wouldn't be as compelling anymore because you can't do it the same way. So, where's the new HD moon landing?
I mean,
And by
there's
the way, known
higher
fact.
definition recordings from like the surface of the moon and Mars.
By
and
the
stuff
way,
like
known
that.
fact, all NASA footage is manipulated by NASA. They Photoshop all of the images they release because the cameras can't capture it the way they are able to scientifically prove it's supposed to actually look. Like, how many layers are you gonna give me?
Yeah, I mean that is a literal
And how many
I could
billions
probably
going
find
to
the press
NASA?
release.
You just
that
gotta follow the money.
This is true.
I'm not sure I understood that statement.
Okay, so I'll explain it in neutral tone because I do understand where it would need to happen, even if it I'll say if NASA is telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, due to atmospheric conditions and lack thereof, and the way that cameras work, and the way that images, digital recordings of images work, and radiation, they do have to post-production their space images a lot. Some of what you see is computer generated. Some of it is colorized in different ways. Some of it is literally shifted around because things there's distortion, so they'll fix distortion. And all that. So it's and that's publicly known fact is that they Photoshop those images, or maybe they don't use Photoshop. I'm not sure what program of choice, but they doctor those images to make them look appealing and spacey in the way that NASA wants them to look. How far that doctoring goes, and that's what Mary's getting at.
And
That,
just something
if
to
they
add to
literally
the
admit
equation.
that they do it, why do
Something,
people
yeah.
cling so hard to it that being scientific fact when like someone's literally admitting to having a
It's
hand in
twisted.
how it appears. I think it's a valid concern.
And, like, didn't you read earlier that, like, they gave you different information in 1971 versus 1999 or whatever?
That was me. It was 1970s to 91 was when they changed their mind on the water question.
Oh,
which
yeah.
comes in on Hollow Earth.
Should we, I think, listen, are we cool? Like, I feel like I really, like, I feel like I'm ruining my, like, relationship with you as a friend by doing this show because I feel like
No,
Jeffrey?
you're
it's
I'm permeating your van belt of, like, emotional threshold.
No, I'm good.
Friends. And so we all know how I feel about it. I feel like the moon landing was fake. I agree with the two sane people in the room. However, I am highly disappointed in Jeffrey's performance, and therefore I'm going to argue the opposite side for a moment.
Well, nobody listens to me. Everybody
you're
starts
making-
talking over
you're
me as soon
making
as I start
points.
saying anything.
Go ahead. Go ahead. And then I'll do what you don't do.
No, you go ahead.
No,
Just-
seriously.
No, please go ahead and do it. I don't need to. You can probably do a much better job than I can. It's fine.
No, you. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I'd
I
like
really
to hear
don't
it.
want to.
Please. I have to get my window back up, so why don't you do something while I get my window back up?
Okay. So, I don't see any compelling evidence to convince me that there was a motive to keep this gigantic secret for all of this time. Every bit of evidence doesn't really seem particularly compelling to me, and there's no motive behind the evidence, so I don't see any reason to not believe it.
Okay,
Wait,
so
no
you're
motive
saying there's
behind
no
the evidence.
reason to not believe it because you don't see why anyone would lie?
No, the motive.
The motive to lie.
The motive to
lie, yes.
keep this lie going all this time.
So, I mean,
Well, because it was so easy.
I feel like it's like a fallacy to like just say that it's not fake because you can't think of a reason.
So why is the burden of proof on me?
It's on both of us. Like we're having to provide proof as well.
And all of your proof is flimsy at best, if not completely ludicrous.
All right.
All right, hold on. Let me just easily. I'm gonna go through the list of. Let's just do this.
All right, let's just go.
Okay. So Jeffrey, let's see. I already have the answers because I'm arguing your side. So I'm on like the man's website reading the answers. To
Okay,
why
I've
this
got
is
the
okay.
man's website too.
We've also
What
got
does it even mean?
space.com, and they've got Apollo moon landing hoax theories that won't die. So this is
Okay, here
definitely
we go.
on your side.
Okay.
Well, here we go. So some of the evidence that moon landing deniers, I guess we'll call ourselves, have brought up is in some photos crosshairs. So there were crosshairs on the lens etched onto the glass lens of the camera, to keep things level. But in some photos, the crosshairs appear to be behind objects. Like part of the crosshair is missing because an object has been superimposed over it, is the argument that, get off your phone, come on. You didn't prepare? Okay, I'll skip to the next one. Anyway.
Nobody else brought this one up? Why am I the only one that has
Well,
to know
because
this
I
one?
have them. Because
Well, you have a computer in front of you.
Well, no, I had these, I did my research, Jeffrey.
You need
All right,
another
put the
new,
computer down.
LaCroix.
Like, talk to me face to face.
Yeah, I'll take another LaCroix.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
talking
now that
to
this
you
is happening,
face to
it, like,
face.
kind of helps us. And then
You're
our,
cheating.
Like, hurt,
I'm not
so it
cheating.
just-
You're giving me shit for not having all of this memorized.
No,
well, you
I'm
have
not.
a computer
I'm
right
just
in
saying
front
you
of you. And you
didn't do any research beforehand because you were so sure that you
I
don't
did all
need
of.
any
I read
All
all
right.
the stuff about the flag.
The
and
man's answer to the flag.
Allen belt and...
Astronauts were taking their photos on. Oh no, that's the shadow argument. The shadow.
All right, this is really going downhill.
All right. The Van. No, the
we
Van
didn't
Allen
even talk
belts.
about. Did we talk about the shadow?
No.
No.
If you look closely,
Very
you notice the
interrupted by
flag's edges are pulled taut. This effect, which was done purposely as to not allow the flag just to hang flat, was created by inserting a stiff wire into the fabric. The flutter was created by astronauts as the astronauts worked to erect the flag. As the wire was adjusted, Old Glory appeared to wave. and this is my argument. If the Van Allen belt had radiation, it would have killed them. The science, the Van Allen belts are created by Earth's magnetic field, and they protect the planet from dangerous solar radiation. The belts collect this radiation, it traps it in a layer surrounding the Earth, but unless you deliberately cause your spaceship to hover, like you were saying, Gabe, then it won't be dangerous, and they pass through real quick. And the shadow, like, so inconsistent shadows, which it looks like it came from one source of light, like a large studio lamp. The science. Astronauts were taking their photos on a hilly, brightly lit landscape while the sun was close to the horizon. Imagine taking a photograph of someone on a rolling, uneven field of snow during a full, low-hanging moon. Wow, specific. The contours of the ground would produce shadows of many different lengths. Fried film, the claim in the sun's rays, the moon's temperature is 280 degrees Fahrenheit. The film, among other things, would have melted. The science, no one was leaving bare film out on the hot lunar surface. All material was contained in the protective canisters. What, Coke canisters? In addition, at the time the Apollo missions landed, they were either at lunar dawn or dusk. As a result, the temperature was more easily manageable. So I guess the moon has a desert-like, or should we say the desert of Nevada? Roswell, New Mexico?
Whoa!
I meant New Mexico, not Nevada. No, Roswell. The desert. Yeah. Oh, liquid water on the moon. Joey's footprint. Okay?
My
so
footprint.
the claim is that to leave a footprint requires moisture in the soil, doesn't it? And the science is not always. If you take some dry, fine-grained dust, such as talcum powder, and dump it out, it's easy to make tracks in it and hold their shape. Well, then they had to have, like, made those footsteps still.
Actually,
the particles hold their positions
check.
due to friction between them.
Fact check. According to astronauts, if you believe what they say, the surface of the moon was very similar to talcum powder. Because I forgot what the reasoning for it was. Something about the lack of like atmosphere and everything. It's not like Earth sand. It's more like a very fine powder dust. Which I mean,
We know what kind of powder they like in showbiz.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
And who's the best drug dealer of all time? The government.
And
Follow the money.
And according, there's no stars because it would have been washed out by the film.
Yeah, right?
they also said there was no stars because all the moon landings took place in lunar daytime. So when just like Earth, the
But-
reflection of the light would have.
But
Yeah,
they just
right.
said it
Drown
took
out the
place
stars.
during dawn or dusk, or they would have fried up.
Oh shit. Well,
Follow the money.
Thank you, the money.
Wow.
I want to go on record as saying, I hear you. I just don't. To me, the motivation to fake something that nobody had ever imagined doing before, with how easily you could, you know. I just think there's too much at stake.
yeah. Well, I do want to say, like, I like the presence of a character who's supposedly going to be anti-conspiracy theories, but I need you to come in with the fire.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well,
for
this
sure.
is really taking the heat off.
You really get it personal.
No, it's not personal at all. I just said you're a character. It's a character.
See, we're actually our own conspiracy. We are actually creating like dynamics like
All
the
right.
government created.
If Seemore is still here, you can give us a call. We'll let you talk us out of the show.
Just while we're waiting, I'm going to put this on.
What kind of LaCroix would you guys like?
I'll take Barry, please.
Do you want to just really quickly tell us about Hollow Earth Moon, and we won't even dispute
All right.
it?
Can you turn off the music then?
Are we still alive? Are we done?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, damn.
Oh, can we wait till I get my LaCroix? I just need just a second. This is just like
Except you're not going to be here. I'm going to turn off the mic.
no, don't turn it off. Don't turn off the mic.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, will you just turn that music off, Phil? Because
Just
she's
wanted
got
to-
points to
Thank
make.
you.
I just wanted to hear it for a
Because Gabe
second.
did more research than anyone else in this room.
I just
Has a
wanted-
computer in
She gets
front of her.
Ooh.
You have a computer in your hand in front of
And she
you.
yells at me every
Jeffrey,
time I look at
you
her.
were here when I was doing all this research. Like,
Yeah, like what?
I was doing research too, but I can't look at it while I'm talking, apparently.
You could have just been like me and just come in with a unflexible bullshit.
Wow, the
video.
patriarchy's really loud right now. Gabe, I'd love to hear what you researched about the Hollow Moon.
I keep telling her to go, and she's saying no.
Wow,
no.
I mean, wow.
This is getting.
I feel like this has gotten
stresses
really.
me out.
We have a call. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Who is this?
This is Seemore.
Oh, it's Seemore again. Who wants to come get it?
Why does his voice sound like that?
Hi, Seemore.
Hello, Mary.
Your voice sounds different right now.
Yes, well, I can't keep my look at the same frequency and you might die.
Wow. Dude, Seemore, you've been a pretty great presence. How do you feel about our discussion and our disputes today? I feel like a lot of feelings have gotten hurt on all sides.
Well, I think that everyone is kind of off track and very emotional, particularly the one on the left. He really loves Russia.
This one? Yeah.
I can't.
He does love Russia.
It's kind of an issue. Russians are inherently not good for the higher consciousness.
Well, what about the Russian people?
Yeah, that's a problematic statement.
Anything to say to that? Oh.
Wow. Very wild stuff coming in from Seemore.
Well,
Did we
Seemore.
lose Seemore?
Seemore hung up after we asked about
It
the
seems
Russian
like whenever
people.
I talk, Seemore, I am Seemore's kryptonite.
Seymour doesn't want to talk to you, maybe that's just it.
Maybe Seemore's
Alright.
a fucking space
So
fascist.
I'm gonna go ahead and put myself back on.
And I'm gonna real quick run people through the Hollow Earth, Hollow Moon. God. Okay.
It's been a long day.
I did close all my sources,
Sorry,
so
it's just he was agreeing so much with me that I just really turned my anger towards someone in the room next.
Let's all remember, we're all just having fun. Except Gabby.
it's okay. I don't need to talk about this.
No, go on, talk.
This is the Moonpalooza. We're not talking moon again after that. I think everyone will be too triggered by it. So
True.
Okay, so we've got Hollow Moon, which is the theory that the inside of the moon is empty or partially empty. There's a few different theories. There's the spaceship theory. There's the satellite theory. The one I'm most interested in is this kind of like weird organic like origin story of the moon, which ties in with, who was it that was saying that in like older, like more ancient literature, like there are descriptions of the sky without the moon? Was that one of you? Was that Mary? Or was that a video that we
That's
watched?
lit.
There was a
Maybe?
video that we were watching.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have like the sources on that, but I did hear that, and that's interesting, and it ties in with this theory, which comes from I think Zulu and Sumerian mythology. Both have like instances, have a story that revolves around two brothers, or like two companioned people who have scaly skin like a fish, and they were like, they brought the moon, they like pulled the moon into like the orbit of the earth, and then like cracked it like an egg and emptied it of its yolk, which these people tied to like the biblical flood, and said that that was like the introduction of, in the mythology they described it as water raining down on earth that had previously been stuck like outside, like therefore curing a drought or something. But either way, massive flood introduced water to the earth, brought life like at a higher, like more luscious like degree. And after that, the moon was hollow and stayed with the earth, if that makes sense. And I think that the most compelling piece of evidence that I found to support hollow moon having been previously filled with water is the fact that NASA itself now admits, as of this year in February, that, well, they previously claimed that water found during the Apollo missions was actually brought with them on the missions, they now claim that it was lunar in origin, and that there could be large deposits of water left on the surface and on the interior of the moon.
Can I just respond real quick as
Sure.
a historian?
Go for it.
So I just was fascinated because I don't know if you guys know this, that there's something like 40 different myths that pertain to the Great Flood. You know, obviously in America we're most familiar with Noah and the Ark as this explanation for this geological event that did take place. But most cultures that were around at the time have some sort of story that explains. And I think it's interesting to tie it into, on our previous episode we were talking about the Old Testament view of the heavens and the earth as being this enclosed thing, you know? So it's interesting to consider the relationship of water to the moon, as ancient people were more acutely aware of things like astronomy and these more sort of household sciences that were pertinent to their everyday survival. So they were acutely aware of the precession of the moon and how, you know, a lot of like coastal societies, obviously knowing when the tides would be in or out was very important to them. So I think it's really interesting that if you combine this kind of like ancient understanding of how rain works, or more maybe like at the risk of sounding timeist, lack of understanding how rain works. This is a made-up word that I just made up.
No, okay.
I referred to myself as a timeist because I was judging ancient people for not knowing how rain works. But anyway, my point was, I just wanted to illustrate...
Are you like the meteorologist?
Yeah. Are you?
No, but I don't try to act
Cool.
like
So
I'm better
anyway,
than other... Okay.
So I just wanted to quickly say,
Wow.
I don't believe that the moon was full of water, but I think it's really interesting.
What's it full of?
It's, you know, you're full of shit.
Hey.
Well, you know, we're live, so everyone just got to see, like, the real you.
The under.
So I
the
hope
side.
you were ready to show that side of
I don't
yourself
believe
tonight.
that the moon is full of water. I believe that the study of ancient storytelling and ancient myth to try to, which was normally meant to, as far as we can tell, was meant to tell stories of things that happened. When you hear a story of the Great Flood, it was meant to be like, hey, y'all, this fucking wild thing happened. And it's to do it in a way that was seen to be more permanent, because, and you find that a lot in the Old Testament, is that if they wrote something in a particular language style, people could just be killed, and that could be wiped out. But if you made it something that was a little more universal, that had to do with something fictitious, that was something that would be more relatable.
You just said yourself that 40 different stories exist about the flood, like, all over the world. So, like, what does that have to do with, like, some propaganda?
I didn't say it was propaganda. I'm saying I think that the story, it having to do with draining water from the moon, was just then, it was part of the story of the Great Flood. I'm saying I don't think it...
Yeah, well, you are being very timist, because
For
I
sure,
think
absolutely.
What storybooks are you reading? Like, what modern version of it are you reading that you trust more? Like, if you're gonna have an opinion about the moon,
well, why
is it full of nothing?
Why
is it? It is full of nothing because it's filled with water.
Why don't the other stories of the Great Flood include the draining of the moon?
Well, that's a good question.
They did censor the Bible.
I would wonder what percentage of stories about the Great Flood even bother to mention where the water came from other than the sky.
And maybe it's the Sumerian text.
And then also you
We're
have
leaving out.
these specific cultures that mention these specific people bringing the moon to us and using that. It's like, what were they supposed to do? Like, astral project to every culture on the fucking planet Earth?
Well, I just think if the moon is a pretty big thing. I mean, if the Zulus or whoever were like bringing it down with their like minds or whatever, some people over in like Indonesia would be like, "Oh shit, the moon is coming down and a bunch of water's coming out of it," right? Like they would have seen it, whether or not they understood what was going on. They would have seen it.
Maybe it was daytime.
Fuck.
Maybe their texts and their records of these stories have been eliminated with time.
Also valid. I was just giving some context. I don't know why you gotta like come for me like this.
Halloween's just like a fun thing to think about. I thought that story was cool. I like the story.
Yeah, it's a nice story.
I think it ties in kind of in a fun way to what we were talking about a couple of days ago when we talked about whether or not we believed that ancient civilizations had alien interference, and whether or not we think that the interference was alien or like ancient Earthian in origin, antediluvian or whatever, if that's the right word. And I just thought it was a fun story. I don't really have any opinions other than that it was cool.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's cool. It's interesting how cultures told. I mean, because you can see that from Old Testament to New Testament is really like to see the way the approach to storytelling changed. So I think there is like a particular way of storytelling in the ancient world that was much more like character based and more like, oh, I don't know how to explain that this fire is happening, so I'm going to kind of like amorphize something else into it.
No, here's my problem with that is like you talk about how you're a history expert on this panel.
I just said I'm a historian. I never said I was a history
and you're saying
expert.
Stories are irrelevant, but
I never said it was irrelevant.
His story is relevant, but his just stories are irrelevant. Storytelling.
When did I say the stories were irrelevant?
Oh, that's so crazy. They just were like, well, how cute are these words that they used or these symbols they used to tell what happened in their lifetime? Oh, so fantastical. Like, yet you believe his story where it's like the Industrial Revolution was good for the world?
Definitely don't. Definitely.
So that's my one comment about that.
That's a hell of a comment. Yeah, it's a doozy.
Anything to say for yourself?
Nope.
Alright, nice. Good soundboarding over there. Well, I guess that's kind of it. I guess we just all kind of came in with our opinions, and we're all going to leave with our same opinions about the moon landing. I'm surprised, honestly.
Hopefully we've helped change some minds at home, though, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I've been swayed a bit.
Which way?
I was swayed more towards your reasoning for it being fake than other reasoning for being fake. I was really open to...
Weird.
I was open to the potential of it being like an alien cover-up or it being like a hollow moon cover-up, but I don't think we really went far enough down those roads for me to like get, think that was 100% it.
You just followed the money.
I think that it's possible that there's more than one situation going on.
Yeah.
That like maybe the space race actually took United States like astronauts to the moon, and then they found some shit, and they were like, fuck that, we gotta go home, and like...
Maybe it was an actual race with, like, race cars that took place at an undisclosed location that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I would have liked to hear a little bit more on the theories of, like, we did go to the moon, but there was something there. I would have liked to hear more about that, because that at least would have, like, provided, like, maybe some motive. But I didn't really hear a lot of, like...
You don't think winning the Cold War was enough of a motive?
Wait. How many viewers do we have left? Can we get into it for 5 minutes?
What do you mean?
How many viewers do we have?
I have to pee.
We have 2? 3?
I think we can at least go into it as a bonus feature. Yeah, I got kind of distracted with my own bullshit.
Is that possible?
So I just want to say to the people watching right now that the thing about there being structures on the moon when they landed there is that yeah, I mean, it's been alluded to by some members of the party. We did get off on some other tangents about how maybe even the astronauts themselves were faked by a simulation. We got a lot into the whole discussion of Hollywood, but alien cover-up is like a very legitimate thing. Like, there's Blue Book projects. There's also, the Disclosure Project that there's, Project Blue Book. Anyway, that's kind of beside the point. Yeah, I think the idea that the moon is just some rock in the sky, like essentially a hairball in the space,
I'm getting a phone call.
Is probably not as accurate as it being somewhere humanoids could be.
Hi, how's it going? I'm sorry. Let me give you to somebody else so they can hear you on the microphone.
Wow, I'm glad that you have decided to call back, Seemore.
Get rid of the men. Just be in the room.
Get rid of what?
The men.
The men?
Deserve to hear it.
Yeah, I'll just cover my ears.
You will be chosen for higher frequency, Mary.
I am?
You will be. Your time will come.
That's like very appreciated, Seemore. I just want to say. I feel like I get downplayed a lot on the set of this show, and I feel like the whole episode I've really connected to you, Seemore. I feel like they've tried to like disconnect us a few times, and I'm just glad you keep trying to make contact. Do you know about there being structures on the moon? Do you know about there being structures on the moon, Seemore?
The moon is a satellite. You'll see it one day.
It is a satellite. You did say that at the beginning of the show.
You've got to speak lower because you're so close to the mic.
Lead to the shadowy of reality. You're on the route to the land of the different, the bizarre.
Will you lead this interview?
What
All right.
the fuck?
I think we lost.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
I want to apologize. I feel like I'm a little awkward with taking the phone calls. I hope you guys are bearing with me as I learn how to navigate that. Yeah, Seemore called back. I don't know. Like, I feel flattered by Seemore, but I also feel
can we
confused
talk
and
about-
manipulated.
About the
Mostly.
horrific, like, event horizon death sounds that we all
Mary,
just heard.
you can't just be like, I love Seemore after that shit.
Well, like, Seemore
all
is
I
just
heard-
very pro-me.
So I can't hear the phone calls that well from over here. But literally towards the end, all I heard was some weird lady's voice,
Yeah.
some weird sound effects, and some dude like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, there was like it was like very melodic, like welcoming woman's voice, you know, and there's like some like elevator music in the background. She seemed to be like welcoming you to like some sort of magical paradise.
So we'll hear it a lot better on the playback when we sign off and listen to the...
Man, I was in the bathroom.
Right.
Wait, can I say one thing, you guys? I feel like this is about to Blair Witch on us, because I feel like we wanted to say, like, oh, let's not bring up Seemore. Seemore's just a fan, and we didn't want to talk about the conspiracy that we don't know who Seemore is. But Seemore is now starting to, like, kind of scare me. Seemore, I know, like, I feel like our connection's still, like, don't get that wrong. Like, I'm really glad you're here. I'm just saying the conspiracy is kind of getting a little more harrowing for me. I agree after that audio clip we just heard.
Yeah.
I'm really uncomfortable with that audio clip.
Yeah, while you were at the end of that audio clip that I was just describing, after the whole melodic voice and music and thing, suddenly there's like this guy like screams like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is that?" And there's like monster sounds.
It was
like,
not-
It's like
it was
some Event
unsettling.
Horizon shit.
Like, I feel like we're either getting... Like, I think it's obvious at this point that we're getting punked. Like, this
That's
can't-
what everybody would say at the beginning
Right
of
before they died.
sci-fi
Can I be
horror
honest?
movies.
Okay, see now I'm really uncomfortable to be sitting like in front of like the dark hallway because I feel like I'm gonna be first. So can I
think
come
it's-
sit with you guys?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna come over there, which means that we won't have any more fun effects. But I'm also just, like, freaked out, so...
No, I think we all need to talk about how this has made us feel.
Can I
Yeah.
get in?
Yeah. Here, you take this seat for a second. You take this seat for a
Okay.
second.
Mary, you can sit behind the camera if you want.
Yeah, I'll see if I can figure this out. Oh, by the way, hi Matt Spritzer. I'm glad you're watching. Again, if anyone has any theories on Seemore, let us know. I think, like most conspiracies, though, Seemore might be, like, the more we, like, give into it, the more, it will affect us.
That's true. So you
Yeah.
could just shut it down right
Like
away.
that's what I tried to do. So like from the beginning when I was just like, let's not talk about Seemore. Like people won't get it. Like only we're weirded out by it because only we know that we're not doing it. So I was just like, let's not like make it a gimmicky like stupid thing on our show. But oh Jesus, Mary, you switched it to you. Turn the fish off. Are you just switching back and forth through the windows?
No. I'm just testing.
Okay. Yeah, but, you know, like, I don't know. I think it is kind of weird. Like, I want to hear that phone. I almost want to, like, end the stream to go back and listen to the phone call.
Well, how long have we been live?
We've been live for 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is 30 minutes
wow.
longer than
I
we
think we
did
could do
any
a
other
2-hour
time.
episode.
I don't think so, man.
We have a new conspiracy altogether, though.
Yeah, like, who is Seemore?
Who is Seemore? That's true. I've just been wanting to charge my phone up enough to play some sick outro music.
Well, let's say what we know. I guess
know,
since we're dealing with this Seemore shit.
Well, I confronted Seemore here on Saturday Night Live for the viewers by asking. Seemore identified themselves to me in a private message as David with 2 A's, which is an interesting... David. Or maybe that could be a reference to AA, which would be, you know, a little on the nose, a little weird.
Seemore also added us all on Facebook, but like in a weird order. Who got their friend request first?
Me. I was Seemore's first friend.
And then Vinny, and then I got one.
I still haven't accepted.
I have not accepted mine either. Only Vinny and Joey have. Yeah. And Mary got one too.
And that was hours apart.
Here's what I want to say about Seemore is I'm kind of still pro Seemore because Seemore tells me that the only thing I'm scared of is my own awakening. And this feels kind of personal and like substantially trippy on a level that I feel like a normal lame hoax wouldn't really connect with me in this way. And I feel kind of validated by Seemore.
Can you toggle off the fish person on, on your cam?
Maybe.
Unless you like him.
Wait, let me switch it. I'll be pro Seemore instead.
Okay, cool. I see what you did there. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not anti-Seemore. I'm just pro not getting killed.
Yeah. Whatever you are, Seemore, just don't,
We all like you, Seemore.
I mean, I could take you or leave you, but just don't be a weirdo, alright?
You know, because when this Seemore business started out, what if we all get murdered? Like, it really is Blair Witch Project, where there's cameras everywhere. But the thing is, Seemore, like, we all thought you were Steph. We all thought you were someone we knew, and now it's gotten to a level where, like, there's really no way to know.
Well, I mean, we thought that it was either Chris. We also thought that it was Joey. We also thought that it was, like... We each kind of, like, suspected each other of being Seemore until, like, proof, like for the first call I got, I answered, and it was, like, a man's voice, or, like, more like a boy's voice. And I immediately was like, where the fuck's Vinny? And I walk over, and, like, he's not on the phone, he's on his computer. Everybody else is, like, in the room except for Joey. You had gone out to eat. You were out to eat when I got the first phone call, but obviously it's not you because you've been getting subsequent phone calls. But I guess I should have suspected you at that point. But, yeah, I mean...
I don't think it's Chris. Chris isn't committed enough to any joke.
Yeah, they've been watching this whole thing. Like, we've gotten Seemore calls throughout this whole hour and a half, so...
It could still be Steph.
It could. Well, Steph's at work.
I feel like
Allegedly.
this is the only conspiracy you would actually believe in.
Steph's literally at work today.
Yeah, Steve, Jeef, what do you think? You're a naysayer. What do you think?
Oh.
Well, also... No, go ahead.
What? About
Who's
Seemore?
Seemore?
Yeah.
Probably some random troll, I would imagine.
Well, that's boring.
I'm a pretty boring guy.
I'm gonna
say opinions. The most boring opinion is usually the one that
a piece of evidence that could go for or against Seemore being Steph. If she's at work, that would mean that she's making these phone calls in a public space, like with other people there. But do we think she would do that? It could be like that could be inconsequential.
Well, they're happening far enough apart that, you know, like maybe
that
she's
what?
like, well, it would be harder to do at work if you'd just be like, hang on, I need like an hour to relentlessly call my friends.
That's true. And the hang-ups are abrupt.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear a comment from Seemore?
Yeah, what's up, Seemore?
Shit.
I know what I am. Do you know what you are?
Hell yeah.
That's a little troubling. Have you guys ever...
Wait, how long ago did that comment come in?
Just recently.
Like literally right now, like
Tell
seconds
you what
ago?
I am, Seemore. I'm American
Okay,
by
guys.
birth, Southern by the grace of God.
Guys, I think Steph's innocent.
Oh, shit.
Because I got a message from Steph at the group chat at the exact same time you said Seemore sent a comment.
What
Like
does
literally,
Steph say?
are you guys gonna want to ride from Mary's place when I'm off at me?
Shit.
It was like it had to be like within the same minute or two.
Fuck.
You all right over there?
What's wrong? She said, "Cool." Sorry, what's wrong?
I just
Was that
feel
just
really,
a reaction to my?
No, I just feel very like scared now because I'm not scared of Seemore. I just feel
Yeah,
like
me either.
I feel like manipulated. Like, because I feel like whoever it is, I don't know what their intentions are. With me, I know they're good, but like with you guys,
Oh no, I like Seemore.
I feel like you're just trying to say you like Seemore because you don't want to get murdered by
I think Seymour's an
Absolutely.
I think Seymour's an agent provocateur.
All right, everyone, listen. I've been catfished before, okay?
Oh, shit.
I've been catfished
We
pretty
have
hard.
an expert.
I'm actually
Actual
I'm
catfish.
pretty good at spotting threats on the internet and what people want from you.
Oh boy.
I don't think Seymour's a physical threat. I don't
Cool.
think I don't think our physical lives are in danger.
Well, I don't think any of us
I
thought
think
that
so.
either.
It's not crossed my mind.
Yeah.
It crossed my mind too. Actually, as I was sitting in the my room editing, I kept looking over my shoulder out the window, just expecting to see some kind of floating specter,
A lizard person.
a lizard person out the window. My imagination did start to run wild, but I don't think Seymour is out to cause any real harm.
You don't think Seemore is a lizard person, or you don't think that they're gonna hurt us if they are?
I don't think there's malice in Seymour's heart
Cool.
towards our
Good.
our physical persons.
I mean, like, I'm still pro Seemore because they're our best viewer,
Yeah.
regardless
Keep
of like,
tuning in, Seymour.
regardless of their malicious intent or not.
Get
I
our
think that
ratings
like
up.
the viewership is admirable.
I mean, there was that guy, that Bjork fan, who sent her a bomb and then blew his own head off.
Damn. Well, are we Bjork level yet? I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
think so.
Oh wow. Seymour just commented something up to you, Vinny. So you're not Seymour.
Oh shit.
Vincent, your physical body is hardly a reality to consider at this point.
See what I mean?
I don't know if that was like a
Yeah.
nice.
Kind of sounds threatening.
Yeah, it was a
Can
little
I be
bit.
honest? Seymour's honestly made more sense to me than any of you guys throughout this entire video.
Yeah, but you're all like, oh, the moon is full of water or whatever.
That was literally me, but okay.
Well, yeah, but you were buying it.
Well, okay.
Seymour clearly exists
I'm still
across
trying to stay
multiple
on brand.
dimensions at once, and I'm honestly I'm surprised Seymour is concerning themselves with this space and time, this physical reality, this pinpoint in the infinite.
Well, maybe what we're doing here is important.
Maybe,
Like, we literally just started doing this.
What if we try?
but I'm gonna guess
What if
it's
Seymour
not.
is one of us from the future?
Shit.
That's
Whoa.
why I feel so connected right now.
Maybe it's Mary.
It might be
Yeah,
Mary.
it's
What
probably
if
it's Mary then.
What if Seymour is like Mary's lizard man lover from like the future when like I'm sorry, Vince.
That's fine.
After the rest of us have been taken out by the reptiles.
Yeah.
We only need to be concerned if like
What
someone
if they just like choose Mary?
But
because-
let's
Someone
just
knocks
be-
at the
Because
door.
I'm a
What was
better
Let's just be
ally
dir-
than you are.
let's just be
Not
direct.
you, Gabe. Gabe, you're pretty cool, but like
Yeah.
Seymour,
these
what
guys
is
are
it?
not, like-
What is it that you want, Seymour? Just tell us.
Yeah, Seymour, what do you
Oh,
want?
Seymour, yeah. Tell us what you want.
Yeah, what do you want?
All right, so we've been on for an hour and 38 minutes. Are we just gonna go for the full 2 hours, double episode?
Absolutely not.
So it's only 20 minutes from now, but no.
No, this needs to end.
But
This is
I
gone.
thought-
Seymour loves me. Seymour just said, I've taken an interest in the one who speaks the truth. She will be different. You might miss her, but you will be in awe of her. Holy shit. You guys.
That's good. That's super fun.
See what I mean? Seymour's
That
not.
could also
I don't know,
easily
dude.
be me.
Why would you say nice things about me? Vinny, will
It
you
says
take over
her.
the
No, I'm
soundboard?
saying they could be talking about.
Right now,
Yeah,
It
what
says-
if-
it says her.
Wow.
Well, I guess lizard people
Wow.
don't know gender.
Yeah.
Probably as well as
We all. Well, it couldn't be Jeffrey because Jeffrey cut his hair.
And Jeffrey doesn't know the truth. Speak the truth. either.
Seymour,
That's
we
true.
want to
Or
see
do
more
I?
of you.
I'm the one person that seems to be.
Seymour, I'd love to take another call if you have the time,
Yeah, play us off,
since I can hear you now.
weirdo. I mean, Seymour.
I'm having fun messing around with your with the graphics here, Gabby.
Cool. Go wild.
How do I switch over to me?
It says Gabe Cam.
Yeah, cool. It's me now.
You can turn off the lizard person. I think you already turned it on.
Yeah, I see. Oh, there's all kinds of shit going on here. Oops. All right, group video feed. That's back to you guys.
Well,
yeah, just make sure you don't turn off any
things.
mics.
This is really entertaining for the guests
going.
watching. So Seemore, we love you. I do. I'm gonna say we, the royal we. I don't think we have time for another phone call tonight, but I do think we have time to go around
if you
real
make
quick.
one right now.
If you make one right now, while we sum up really quickly how we feel about Hollow Earth.
All right.
I'm going to say I'm
Moon.
fully on with what
Hollow
you were
Moon.
saying about the Hollow Moon, Gabe, and the Hollow Earth, but that was different. Hollow Moon, you told a really good story. You had a lot of solid information.
Thank you.
You were more prepared than anyone else who showed up for this today.
I agree with Joey Stankface, and I think that we should give him a little bit of credit for being prepared.
Thank
but
you.
Go ahead. Sign out.
I just want to say, that it's important. It's important to redress the grievances of the past. It's important in late capitalism to remember the things that were done, because the train's gonna run out of cars, and when it does, new possibilities. So that's why you got to keep people's history relevant. You got to keep it known. Investigate the moon landing, my dudes.
Seemore also just said no thanks. I believe that was in response to your question, Joey.
What was my question?
Just tell us what you want.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
that it was maybe Joey himself was what Seymour was referring to, and they said no thanks.
Or maybe it was the phone call.
Or maybe
Oh, true. Maybe it was the phone call.
it could be, if Seemore is David Cohen, I just want the viewers to know that I know that David Cohen is the Zodiac Killer. I will prove it. The people
God
are going
damn it.
to know.
Could you mute?
I'm done. That's all I have to say. What?
That's personal. There's not even possible because I'm not even Facebook friends with that person. Anyway.
With the Zodiac Killer?
If the Zodiac Killer is who you
Unsolved crimes, man.
Anyway.
I know the truth.
Moving on. Sign up.
What am I saying? Hollow Moon.
yeah.
You're on, Jeffrey.
Hollow Moon sounds cool.
Alright.
What are they doing in there?
I think the moon's made of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Wallace and Gromit.
Everyone knows the
Fucking
moon's made of
classic.
cheese.
Yep.
Alright. And then, obviously, I already explained that I enjoy the Hollow Moon theory, and I think that it's, like, super cool, and I had a lot of fun looking it up. I'm not swayed either way, necessarily. Not because, like, I don't care. I mean, I find it highly compelling, and I would rather believe that there's something cool about the moon than that it's a shitty, like, orb of dust, like you guys. But,
Are you calling us a shitty orb of dust? Because that's fucking sick, dude. It's so sick.
Anyway,
it's so dope.
I love Hollow Moon. I think it's real. I think the moon landing was fake. Yeah, that's it for today.
I'm gonna play us off.
Alright, can you put up the title screen?
Yes, I can. Title screen is up. Audio's still live, though.
Nice. So don't forget to join us next time on Saturday Night Live.
Oh my
Seemore
God.
said it was the phone call. I think that was what Seemore wanted, was just not feel so alone, maybe, for one night.
Yeah, which is fine, but don't get all fucking weird.
Well, Seemore, I'm glad you think I'm different.
Yeah, I think you're great, Seemore. Just make your art or
You're so
whatever. Use your characters that you use online. Just don't be smart, alright? Don't do anything you might regret,
All right.
alright?